Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about how much should you tip your food delivery driver. So when you're placing an order on Doordash UberEats or Grubhub, you will have the option to choose how much you tip. And with tipping culture being loosely implemented today, you have to ask yourself, how much is an appropriate tip today for food delivery drivers? Should you tip at all? And what do drivers actually expect from their customers? So in this video, we're going to be talking about my personal tipping practices when it comes to ordering on the platform, why I think people should tip on the app in the first place, what drivers actually expect from customers, and how much I think you should tip your driver. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain and is never intended to be legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult with qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything I'm going to be talking about in this video is very market to market and case by case. Not every area is actually going to be viable for food delivery in the first place, and what applies to me in my market may not apply to you, and what applies to me in my life may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. My personal tipping practices for food delivery apps. First of all, full transparency. If I were to choose one of the big three, I primarily choose Uber Eats. I only order when it's going to cost me the same amount or less money to order and have it delivered than it would be for me to actually go and get it myself, which basically means I'm waiting for a promotion I can use or deals that I could combine with said promotion, etc., etc. And while I'm waiting for the order, I'm usually doing something for my YouTube channel and the overall growth of my business, so that way I am investing the time I would have normally spent on getting the order myself. Otherwise, I really just go get it myself. My standard for tipping a food delivery driver is always tip on the app first and tip a minimum of $5 or 20%, whichever is higher. Now, that is not an expectation I am setting on you. I do that because I was raised that way, and that is what I believe is right based on my own value system. Why should you tip on the app first? Here's the thing about food delivery apps. They are treated as a bid for service, not so much a gratuity. So what happens is that you place the order in the app with whatever service you choose to use. That order is going to go to two places. It's going to go to the restaurant in which the order is placed so they can actually make the food, and not too long after, it's going into a pool of deliveries for people to have sent to them. Drivers are going to see an order that consists of base pay, promo pay, and tips. The base pay is roughly the same every time, give or take some factors. How long the order has been in the pool, how far away in the order is, sometimes how far away the driver is from the restaurant in question. And 9 times out of 10, it's about $2.50, maybe even $2, maybe even $3. That base pay is a little loosely implemented. Promo pay is scarce in a lot of places and semi-frequent in others, so always assume the base pay is going to be $0. Then there is your tip, which is added on top of the base pay and promo pay. If you choose the tip well, you will likely get your order quickly depending on the proximity in which you are ordering. If you choose to tip the default amount, usually calculated by the app itself, you'll probably get the order relatively quickly. But if your order is further away from your home, the app might help you by increasing the base pay, but not by much. Take that tidbit of info at your own risk. If you choose not to tip at all, however, no one is going to want to take your order. Not just for the amount, although it is a huge factor, but for the fact that customers who tip poorly, rate poorly, cause unreasonable contract violations for their refund methods, and sometimes even cause wrongful deactivations simply because they want a free meal. Yes, you are put into that same bucket even if that's not what you do. Not to mention, not even the apps like no-tip customers. Sure, they're implementing tactics for us, but they also make sure to really help no-tip customers until the order has been sitting for hours. Like, they won't stop you, but they don't really want you around either.
You're the guy that nobody wants, but we can't get rid of.
Now, everybody and their mother is gonna be like, I only tip after service. That is so backwards. How do I know that you will do a good job? To which those people are not only acting as if they don't understand the business model and super entitled on top of that, they are utilizing an abuse method referred to as sea lioning. This is where they will take the same argument over and over again, going in circles, and they would rather be right in their own minds and choose to not understand what the point really is than really look at the facts and understand that if they want to use the platform, you have to understand the rules of engagement.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
We have proven time and time again with content creators literally going, I am going to accept all orders and see how much I make. Which it amazes me how many people will swear that they tip in cash and they tip after service every single time. And we prove time and time again how many cash tips actually hit their hands and how many times the tip is increased on the app after. I'll give you a hint. It's all 0 times each.
Oh no, who would have seen that coming?
Sometimes they'll get a sporadic one, but if you think I'm gonna go through 10 no-tip orders to get to your 1 cash tip, you're out of your gosh darn mind. Look at it this way. If I was going to receive 2 orders, both of them for the same distance, same mileage, etc., one of them's paying $2.50 to go 4 miles, one's paying $10 to go 4 miles, which one are you taking? The guaranteed win. Now, some people will make the argument about tips in cash and how they don't get taxed if they're in cash, and that does have some validity to it, but again, I'm not going to go through 10 no-tip orders to get to your 1 tip after service. That's an overall net loss, and it's proven to be wrong over and over again. What drivers actually expect from customers? I know we've all seen videos online where the orders are tipped well in retrospect, and even we think, yeah, that's a solid tip, and yet they make a big stink about it, and their actions go viral on TikTok. And it is because of that mentality that they will make you believe that we have these grandiose expectations of customers, and really, it was just one guy making us all look bad. So what do we actually expect? Well, everyone's goals are different, but I can speak for me personally. We expect that the orders that are placed to be reasonably distant, so we are not driving ridiculous distances to get to you. We expect that if there is a regular challenge with your location, that you make it a point that we get a heads up about it in the instructions. Whether that's the GPS, a gate code, a call box, whatever. We expect a simple transaction and not to play stupid games. When we're trying to get in the building, we're trying to contact you, and then you ghost us until it's like 1 minute after, and you go, I'm sorry, I was in the shower. Really? It's always the same excuse every time. We expect that if you don't like how the service works, don't use it. We expect to be treated with the same respect you would give to anyone else and not to be treated like a second-class citizen. Like seriously, just because we're in business for ourselves, suddenly that means we're terrible people. Now, if it seems like that's too much for you, I think that says a lot more about you than it does about us. How much I think you should tip your food delivery driver? I could technically construct some kind of system and give you a definitive answer and even make some kind of table for what makes sense for the proper mileage, but here's the reality. I want you to tip exactly what you believe is right after you heard all the information that was presented to you. You want to tip well? Go for it. We would be happy to work with you. You want to tip whatever the default setting is and not have to think about it? Fine by us. You want to tip nothing? Go ahead. Like I said, we don't want to serve people that don't tip because they are a literal risk to work with. They cause bad ratings, contract violations, wrongful deactivations. And if we put those people in a position to where they start tipping because they have to, not only are you going to be resentful and reluctant about it, our accounts are going to be in danger working with you. So please, choose the tip exactly what you would normally based on your own values, your own beliefs. And if you are seen as a quality person to work with, we look forward to working with you. And if not, we will simply decline. And I wish you luck on your shelf of shame. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.